everyone, a very warm welcome to the session. This is Sweta, your English master teacher at Vedantu, and I'm seeing you after a very long time in live session. So how are you guys? And a very happy Holi to all of you. I hope all of you are having a very happy, colorful, and yes, safe Holi this time. So did you all enjoy Holi, or is it still going on? What is it? Hi Ayush, hi Anushri, hello Karun, hello Naman. Missed you too, dear, missed you too. So guys, I hope you people are enjoying your Holi. Happy Holi, happy Holi. Okay, so guys, today we are going to revise after Blenheim in one shot. So welcome to ICSE Grade 10 in one shot English, and we will be revising the beautiful poem After Blenheim by Robert Southey. So are you guys ready to rock the session today? Yes or no? Give me a quick reply in the chat box. Okay, I think my live chat has stopped. 1 minute. Now, okay. So after Blenheim by Robert Southey. So what do you, before we start off with the session, before we start off with the entire revision of the poem in one shot, I would like to know your inputs. What do you know about the poem After Blenheim? By now you have almost visited all the videos which I have uploaded for this particular poem. The one shot, of course, the one shot video that we are going to cover today. Apart from that, we have already completed the explanation part of the poem in the previous videos. So you must be having the idea of the poem and of also the poet and about his writing style, etc., etc. So please tell me, do give me your inputs in the chat box about this particular poem. Yes, so I'm waiting for your reply in the chat box about this particular poem. Any idea? No? Okay, so let me tell you. ये live chat नहीं चल रहा. Anyways, so about the poet. Now, Robert Southey. This poem is written by Robert Southey, who was an English poet of the Romantic school. Right, so you must be aware of the Romantic school of poetry. The Romantic poets, I have already talked about the Romantic poets. So Robert Southey also belonged to that group. Okay, and he was a poet laureate from 1813 until his death. Right, so he was also a poet laureate. All right. So now we would be talking a little bit about the poem. What is the backdrop? So you can, of course, look at the title, the very title of the poem, After Blenheim. So this is basically about the Battle of Blenheim and what happened after that, right? So title brings you to that particular, context. So before going into the line-by-line explanation of the entire poem, I would like to talk a little bit about the backdrop against which this poem is set. Okay? Alright. Why is the live chat not working? 1 minute. Let me check it out. Okay, so you people have started to give your inputs. Yes, it is an anti-war poem. Very well said, Man Singh. Absolutely correct. Just came. Okay, you came back after playing with colors. Hi, Harshil. So yes, even I played right now, and I mean I could completely relate to you as well. Okay, chalo. Hanji, Naman, hi. So, beta, After Blenheim is a poem by Robert Southey, and as Man Singh has perfectly said, it is an anti-war poem. Now, what do you mean by anti-war poem? Any idea what is the meaning of anti-war? Yes, Tiwari Ashish, I would be taking up that as well. Don't worry. Let's complete with the one-shot series, and then we'll definitely take that up. Okay, chalo, come on. Come on, come on. Okay, what do you mean by anti-war? Any idea? Against the destruction. Very well said, Harshil. Absolutely correct. So, anti-war poem. Basically, there were two groups. Okay. Now there was a group called the war poets. Okay. Now war poets, those who basically romanticized war, okay, and hailed the people who fought as heroes. But there was another group who countered that feeling, saying that war is nothing to be glamorized. There is nothing in war that we need to that we need to glamorize, that we need to romanticize. War is something which needs to be condemned. Why? Because it causes so much destruction. It causes it takes away the lives of so many young people who are at the prime of their lives, right? So these people, these poets who talked about war as a necessary evil, who condemned war rather than glamorizing the concept of war, they are known as the anti-war poets. And Robert Southey's poem, this particular poem after Blenheim, also belongs to that particular category. Okay, Wilfred Owen is another famous anti-war poet who said that my subject is war and the pity of war. So yes, war is something which is which causes destruction, and hence it should be avoided. Do you remember a very famous king who gave up war? A very famous name of a king who gave up war, and he started preaching the principle of peace. Do you remember? What is the butchery of innocent human lives? Absolutely correct, Tushar. Very well said. Yes, Mohit, Yash. Absolutely correct. Ashoka, Emperor Ashoka. He, after which war did he decide to finally give up war? Yes, Harshil, you are absolutely correct. Beta, from today, my long-term batch is starting, Naman. From today onwards. Hi, Ritik. Kalinga, absolutely correct. So Kalinga, as Mohit correctly stated, Kalinga was a part which was not present Odisha. It was not the part of Ashoka's kingdom, right? So he wanted to, extend his kingdom, and that is why the war of Kalinga took place. But after seeing the huge destruction in that war, he finally realized that war is something which should not be glamorized. Okay, and he decided to leave up war completely, and then he followed which religion? Which religion did he follow? Come on, which religion? Hi Sanju. No problem, we've just started. Which religion? Thank you, Harshil, thank you so much. Yes, Yash. He started to follow Buddhism and started to preach the principles of Buddhist philosophy about peace, following the middle path, etc., etc. Right? Okay. Now coming to this point, this is this is an anti-war poem that centers around one of the major battles of the 18th century. Okay, now this battle of Blenheim took place in the 18th century, written in 1796. Which year was this written? It was written in the year 1796, and it's written in the form of ballad. It offers a deep insight into the war and its consequence. Now, which war is it talking about? The 1704 War of Spanish Succession, in which a coalition of forces, including the English, defeated the Franco-Bavarian army on the land of Blenheim. Where is Blenheim? It's a small village in southern Germany. Okay, so which war is it talking about? It's talking about the War of Spanish Succession, between whom? Between a coalition force which also included the English. So basically, it's talking about the English who defeated the Franco-Bavarian army. All right, and it was held in the year 1704, where in Blenheim, what was it? It was a small village. All right, so this is the background against which this poem is set. Is this clear? Is this clear? It was about, yes, absolutely. Yes, Sanju, absolutely correct. You are absolutely correct. Between, yes, Mansingh, between Duke of Marlborough and Savoy's Prince Eugene. Absolutely correct. Great, great. So you have a lot of historical knowledge about the Battle of Blenheim as well. I'm fascinated to see that. Great job. So now, talking about the poem, this was the historical background which you needed to know. If you want to, you can definitely search more on Battle of Blenheim. That would be giving you the exact historical details. But for this particular poem, we just need to know about a little bit about the Battle of Blenheim and between who were the warring parties and when was it fought. That's it. Okay, and then we would be talking about the more important point for us is to talk about what is the poem trying to say? What is the poet trying to say through this poem, right? Now, this is through a conversation between an old farmer Casper and his grandchildren, Wilhelmine and Peterkin, right? And the poet gradually reveals the scene of a battlefield. Now, one of the kids, okay, he finds a large, something which is large and round. Now, please note this large and round. And when he speaks to his grandfather, he says that if this is a skull, one of many to be found nearby. That means this is not a single skull which he has discovered. There are so many other skulls which could be found nearby. And similar instances run through the poem to support now these type of instances of finding skull by a kid, the grandfather explaining that this is not just a single skull, there are many more like the same one. This is basically done to emphasize upon the main idea or the main theme of this poem. Now, what is the main theme? The tragic end of war and the vulnerability of human life. The poem After Blenheim makes us ponder on the purpose and result of a war and even questions its validity. Is war valid? What is the purpose of war? Why do we fight? Why do we involve ourselves in huge battles if it is causing harm on both sides, if it is causing loss on both sides? What is the result of war? And the victory that comes out of war, is that victory really victory? So that victory becomes very, very ironical at the end of the poem. Is this clear? Yes, exactly, Sanju. What is won when all is lost? Beautifully said by Sanju. Now, the war caused huge devastation and thousands of casualties, but old Casper seems to have an unconcerned attitude towards his claims and calling it a famous victory. Very, very, very important. As I told you, the term victory is very ironical and famous. Okay, so there are some people who get glorified and who earn fame because of war at the cost of so many lives which are butchered at the prime of their stage. So things like that must be. These are some phrases which we need to point out to again ponder upon the idea of war. His gruesome description, followed by his casual saying, that creates an effect of irony. So, when we will be running through the poem, we will see how he describes the gruesome impact of the war, the gruesome description of the war, the bloodshed all around, in a very, very, very casual attitude, saying that things like that must be. This is not something which is special. This is very common, right? It is ironic that it was a great war, but no one knows why, right? Even the grandfather fails to answer the question when asked by the grandchildren, why do you call this a great victory when it is causing so much destruction? All right. Hanji Naman, yes, yes, from today. Absolutely from today. Okay. So, now Robert Southey is one of the late poets and he presents a hollowness and meaninglessness of war in this poem. Okay, now please find out, this is your homework. Okay, please find out what do we mean by there was a lake school of poetry. Okay, and Robert Southey was also a part of that he was also a lake poet. So please find out more about lake school of poetry, and who were the poets, who were the lake poets apart from Robert Southey. Okay, this is your homework. Please do find this out, and put your comments in the comment section. Okay. Now, this poem is against the Battle of Blenheim as well as the sentiments of the rulers behind such war. Yes, this is also one important point that you have to note, because this we will come to know when we will be dealing with the poem. This is also talking about the sentiments of the rulers. So we all are puppets at the hands of those rulers who rule. Okay, he presents a layman's perspective. What he is presenting is a layman's perspective. Okay, because neither the grandfather was involved nor the grandchildren were involved in war. They were just like us, layman. So we can definitely place ourselves in the place of the grandfather, or the grandchildren. So their perspective can be our perspective, could be looked at as our perspective regarding the famous victory at Blenheim. So far so good, guys. Oh, thank you, Harshil. Thank you so much. Okay, yes, Sanju, you are absolutely correct. So there are a lot of information given by Sanju about the poet Robert Southey. So great, guys. Thank you so much for being so informative, Sanju. All right. So guys, I hope you all are enjoying the session. Now very soon we would be delving deeper into the session, understanding the poem line by line. Okay, so if you want to join us further and gain 100% knowledge and score 100% marks, you could join us. Okay, as Naman was asking about the long-term batches, so yes, they have already started, and today I would be also taking up, I guess, 9th and 10th, 9th A and 10th A, I guess. Yes, that these are my batches for today, the new batches that I will be taking up: 9th A CBSE plus and 10th A CBSE plus. Okay, so yes. So if you could, guys, if you join these sessions, you can avail unlimited classes. So it's unlimited live classes with fun and high level quizzes. Okay, and I have just talked about 2 classes that I am going to take today. They have started just today. There are so many other classes, so many other boards taken by so many other teachers, and these classes are going to be, so very amazing. You could get a lot of exposure, guys. You could compete with the students throughout the world, and you have access to unlimited live classes, plus even the replays that you watch, they will also be interactive with live quizzes. So basically, most of you were asking me about mentee sessions, so you have to wait in YouTube sessions for mentee quiz, right? But in our platform, we have quiz questions in every session. Okay, and all these sessions you will have quiz questions. Even the replays would have live quizzes where you can participate. So that will give you the competitive feel, because very soon you would be taking part, you would be appearing for a lot of competitive exams as well. Plus, you would be seeing the leaderboard at the end of the class, which would be showing you your overall class rank and earn points, which is again going to help you in the long run. You could download all the content with handwritten notes of the master teachers at the end of the session. The moment you click on the past session, you'll get an option for get notes. The moment you click on the option called get notes, you get all the notes with handwritten notes of the teachers as well. Plus, all your doubts are going to be solved in class with the help of our superb class teachers who will be there throughout the session along with the master teachers. Plus, you have assignments, you have quality tests. After each session, you would be having assignments. Solving those would help you understand how far have you been able to understand the concept. Okay. Plus, we take quality tests. We give you the performance report of those tests, and also we have free 5,000 plus micro courses and crash courses. For these courses, chapter wise courses, micro courses are basically chapter wise courses, guys. So if you have, we are constantly trying to fill up all the gaps that can come in the process of education in these no, through these courses, right? So these are absolutely free. You do not have to pay any extra amount for this, and all this is available at a very affordable price. So what you need to do is just click on the link which is given in the description box. You can see the pinned comment as well, right? So just, hi Siddharth, no, I did not forget you. I played Holi. I did play Holi. Right. So coupon code is SWREPRO. Okay. So click on the link in the description box and use this coupon code SWREPRO, and you would get access to all our classes, guys. And this is for this new session 2022. The 1 month subscription is for 2690. After applying the coupon code, you can see the discount from 3700 to 292,960. And full year academic plan, guys, till March 22, only at 34,992, which is, if you see per class, that is per class only 14 rupees, guys, only 14 rupees. And if you go for the month, guys, it's 14.8. If you go for the full year academic plan, 14.58 per class, which is really very affordable, because you're going to get this for the entire year. So definitely you don't have to worry about anything else. Okay, all your queries, all your test series, everything would be taken care of. So what you need to do is just visit the link and use the coupon code so that you get the discount. And with that, we would be coming to the line by line explanation. My face is now as red as that of a monkey. Oh, so you people have played Holi. That's great. That's great. Happy Holi, Siddharth. Happy Holi. Happy Holi to all. No, I'm not from Darjeeling. I'm from West Bengal, but Kolkata. Okay. So yes, my hands are, I think, red. No, purple. So I did play Holi, thoda sa, not much because I had to take your session. So anyways, let's begin with a line by line explanation. And it's good that I'm celebrating Holi with you people. I'm really happy and I'm blessed that this is my first Holi with my students. So that's great. Okay, I'm sure you also are happy to celebrate Holi with your family and with me. Yes? Yes or no? You played yesterday? Okay. Holi was amazing. It's still going on. It's not past yet. Yes, I did. I did. Absolutely. I'm from Darjeeling. Yeah, I was actually filled with colors. And then I had to, hurry up because of your session. I had to hurry up and clean up myself. But yes, this did not go yet. So that's good. You have seen me in Kolkata. Where did you see me? Okay, chalo. Let's begin with this poem. Now, very first stanza, guys. It was a summer evening. Old Casper's work was done, and he before his cottage door was sitting in the sun, and by him spotted on the green his little grandchild Wilhelmine. Now you can see over here, the poem begins with picturizing a vivid scene of a summer evening. And what is the scene over here? It's a very casual and normal scene where an elderly farmer called Casper, after completing his work, he was sitting in the sun, okay, and he was watching his grandchildren, right, playing on the field, right, on the green lush field. His little grandchild Wilhelmine. So one of his grandchildren were Wilhelmine, and the other was Peterkin, right? Next, she saw her brother. So Wilhelmine was the grandson, and Peterkin was the granddaughter. And she saw her brother Peterkin roll something large and round. Now, this large and round, we have already discussed what it was when I began the poem, which he beside the rivulet in plain there had found. He came to ask what he had found that was so large and smooth and round. Now Wilhelmine was playing, and at that point of time, she saw her brother Peter King. He had discovered something, okay, and out of curiosity, he takes that particular thing to his grandfather. He wanted to know more about it, just as he's talking about the curiosity of children. The moment they discover, they play something, and while playing, they discover few things. Okay, so now, what is this boy discovering? That is very, very important for us. The thing that this boy is discovering is not a plaything of a child. What was it? Yes, absolutely. The poem begins very, very in contrast to the description of the bloodshed of the violence. The poem begins in a very tranquil and peaceful summer scene. Okay, skull, absolutely correct. Skull, right? So that was so large and smooth and round. Now this description of the skull is also important point for us to note. Old Caspar took it from the boy who stood expectant by, and the old man shook his head with a natural sigh. It's some poor fellow's skull, said he, who fell in that great victory. So I told you that, the way he describes the gruesome war where people are losing lives, and who are actually, the children are finding skulls in the play field, in the field. Now this description, this gruesome description is conveyed in a very, very, very light-hearted and casual manner by the grandfather, which is actually very ironical, right? So the man shook his head with a sigh and said that this is a skull of some poor fellow. And basically, of course, we have understood that this is referring to a soldier who had died in the war. In that great victory, now this great victory is again very ironical. I have already discussed this. So he's talking about the Battle of Blenheim and what happened after Blenheim, right? So because the poem's title is After Blenheim. What is the after effect of such wars? That is basically our concern. I find them in the garden, for there is many here about. Please note, there is not just one skull which is found by that child. There are many such skulls. And often when I go to plough, the ploughshare turns them out. For many thousand men, he says, were slain in that great victory. Again, describing the gruesome effect of war, where so many thousands of men are slain, talking in a very casual and light-hearted manner, right? So Caspar relates how he has found so many objects while ploughing the field. So just imagine the description: ploughing the fields, people are discovering skull. Just imagine, okay? And so that was the intensity of the violence, the gruesome atmosphere, the great victory. So if it is that kind of violence, if the victory was so gruesome, how could it be great, right? So this happens to be an example of sheer patriotism. Now this very patriotism is a great question mark. What kind of patriotism are we talking about if it is at the cost of so many lives of young soldiers? So this is nothing but blind patriotism. Glorifying war is not patriotism, right? So Caspar believed that the soldiers sacrificed their life for the country and did not die in vain. Their death served the purpose of victory in the battle. This is the romantic view of war. Okay, this is what? This is the romantic view of war, where war is valorized. The people who die are valorized. You know, as martyrs, sacrificing the lives of the country, for their country. But how many of us would actually empathize with those soldiers, with the family of those soldiers who die, who sacrifice their lives? So what is the purpose of this war if it is causing so many deaths, if so many people are losing their lives, if so many families are losing their lives? What do you think? Is valorizing war, is glorifying war justified? So the poem is, or the poet is, shedding off the the veil of romance and calling war an unnecessary evil. Sorry, a necessary evil. What do you think? Sound nahi aa raha? Are you able to hear me? Yes, the gruesome and brutal effects of war in a very casual and nonchalant tone shows how much the common masses were manipulated. Exactly. So we all are manipulated by these political leaders. As I told you, the rulers. Who are these rulers? We are puppets in the hands of these rulers who actually, because these rulers ultimately do not lose their lives. Who are losing their lives? It is the soldiers who are losing their lives, and what the rulers are doing, it's a very shrewd political game, right? So what the rulers are doing, they're just terming these men who lose their lives as martyrs, glorifying them. That's it. But what about their lives which is lost? What about the families? Right? So this is something which is very politically manipulated, right? So, and we common people are like Casper. We romanticize war, calling it a great victory. But sitting here, sitting in our places, in our homes, in the comfort of our homes, is it justified on our part to glamorize war in which so many people are losing their lives? Just think about that. That is exactly what the poet also wants us to ponder upon, right? Now tell us what it was all about. Young Peterkin, he cries, and little Wilhelmine looks up with wonder-waiting eyes. Now tell us about the war and what they fought each other for. A question which we all should ask. Why are we fighting? Why are we waging wars? Is it necessary? Why can't we manage or handle things, in a diplomatic manner, by promoting peace? Why do we need to wage war? This is a question that we all need to ask, right? Yes, exactly. Collateral damage is absolutely correct, which will be suitable for another story that we have read. That is Old Man and the Bridge. That was a perfect example of collateral damage, right? But today also, I don't know why. What is this confusion? But today also I do have session with 10th A. Okay. So Tuesday and Friday भी होगा. I'll confirm and let you know. ठीक है? All right. Chalo. So yes. Next is, it was the English, Casper said, who put the French to rout. But what they fought each other for, I could not well make out. But everybody said, quoth he, that was a famous victory. So what the grandfather knows is only that it was a famous victory, and the French were defeated by the English. But what was the purpose behind the war? That he doesn't know. That we also don't know, right? So Casper tries to answer the question. The interesting point to note here is he doesn't know the reason behind the war. That is something which is important. And he doesn't even try to find it. What we see is only the glamorous side of it. We do not see and try to find out the ugly truth behind the war. What we see is what Casper sees, that the English defeated, so our party won, that's it. So that is something which we need to memorize, which we need to remember, that our party won, and it is a great victory for us. But what was the purpose? And is winning the only thing? And what kind of victory it is when so many lives are lost? That is the ugly truth behind the veil of romance, which we hardly bother to find out, right? And then, my father lived at Blenheim then. Yon little stream hard by, they burned his dwelling to the ground, as Sanju correctly pointed out, collateral damage, right? And he was forced to fly. So this is talking about displacement. And so many people, when India got divided, India got partitioned, When we talk about 15th August 1947, we talk about the independence of India, but do we ever talk about the partition and the huge displacement that took place, and at that point of time, what happened? Okay, so that was also, so many riots broke out, so much bloodshed. Do we ever talk about that? We never talk about that. What we talk about is only the independence part, only the brighter side of the things. We fail to look at the darker side, right? So with his wife and child, he fled, nor he where to rest his head. So this is what happened. This is something which happens, which has happened every time. Which, when you look at history, this has happened throughout. When two countries fight, or there's a partition going on, there's a border separation, whatever it is, displacement happens, and sometimes riots also break out, and people have to leave their homeland and go to some other place. So that is something which happens, and that is very, very, very traumatic, right? So the trauma of displacement has also been talked about. Just imagine, think about, you have to all forever leave wherever you are living. Forever, you have to leave your homeland, your country, right? So what is going to happen? Have you ever thought of that? So that is something which we need to understand. So exactly, Sanju. Right. So with fire and sword, the country round was wasted far and wide, and many a childing mother then, and newborn baby died. So this is what the collateral damage, that Sanju was talking about, right? So it's not just, so many people lose their lives, right? So, yes. The poet describes the severity of battle. Fire and sword are the symbols of man's cruelty, right? They represent destruction, death, and horror. Wasted is an emotionally charged word. It conjures an image of a land stripped of any purpose or dignity. So, this is something which is wasted. So many lives are wasted, right? The image of mother and baby killed in war, that also makes us see as the catastrophic of both present and future. So a battle is not just a newborn baby. This is something, a childing mother, newborn baby. So it's not just the present which is destroyed. It is also the future which is, there's a question mark in the future. So present, future, everything is catastrophic in the face of a war. So it powerfully evokes the death of innocence. But still it is named as a famous victory, a great victory, which is very, very, very ironical. So guys, before proceeding further, I hope you all are aware of VOTE, जो कि सिर्फ एग्जाम नहीं बल्कि कम बैक है. So guys, 28th March तो चला गया है, right? How many of you had appeared for this VOTE exam? How many of you have given this VOTE exam already? Fire and Ice, written by Robert Frost. Fire symbol of desire, and vaulting ambition. Yes, exactly. That is interrelated. Absolutely, Sanju. Very well pointed out. Very well pointed out. Okay, no problem, Naman. So, beta, you still have chance. See, you have. They have pinned already. Okay, the comment. Please look at the pinned comment. Okay, you can visit that link. And we have 4th April, 11th April, 18th April. So these 3 days are left, guys. Right? So you can make a comeback. You have a great and amazing opportunity, okay, to make a comeback with Vedantu online talent exam, which is an all India level live free exam. Exams will be on 28 March ko ho gaya hai, 4th April, 11th April, 18th April at 3 p.m. this time, alright. So you will have in-depth performance analysis with all India rank, guaranteed scholarship. So you have so many things to gain, guys, right? So guaranteed scholarship from a pool of over 500 crore, daily challenges to win exciting prizes worth 1 crore. And another amazing thing is to get a chance to be Vedantu's CEO for a day, also win a trip to NASA. You could also win exciting prizes, guys, and so many gadgets like drones, telescopes, laptops by taking daily challenges. Also, as I told you, you could become the CEO of Vedantu for a day. So what you can do is first you have to create your voter ID card and then you choose your vote days. Okay? After that, talking about the exam pattern, you have NAT and SAT. NAT is mental ability test, SAT is scholastic ability test. ठीक है? NAT for 35, this is for grade 10, right? NAT for 35 and SAT for 35 marks, 35 questions, sorry. 35 questions each, and then you have +4 for a correct answer, -1 for an incorrect answer. That's the marking scheme. You have 90 minutes. That's the exam duration. Alright, also you could earn V coins and get rewards. How? And how to win big squads? You can create your own squad and you can join your squad. Join a squad. So this is how you can select a squad logo and create a squad. Alright, so guys, I don't think you should miss this. This registration is absolutely free. The link is there in the comment section. So do visit the link and get yourselves enrolled for V.O.T.E, register for V.O.T.E. Okay? And now we would be moving ahead. Okay, next stanza. They say it was a shocking sight after the field was won. Again, won, right? What is this won? This winning is very ironical. Why? Because the very next line says, for many thousand bodies here lay rotting in the sun. So if this is the situation, this is the gruesome impact, then what kind of winning is this? But things like that, must be after a famous victory. This leads to the title of the poem, which is After Blenheim. So, after a famous victory, which victory? Victory in the Battle of Blenheim, right? So, the poet goes on to depict the terror of war, and when the battle was won, thousands of dead bodies were lying, rotting in the sun. So, that is the gruesome impact, that is the gruesome picture that the poet is trying to paint over here. And the assonance of shocking and rotting and the alliteration in the first line, you can see over here, shocking and rotting. What is the figure of speech there? Assonance. The repetition of the vowel sound O, that emphasizes, and greater resonance to the horrendous image of death. So of course you've understood how horrifying the image of death is. The scene of rotting reduces dead men to carrion. An emotive, vivid word. It shows how war not only takes away life but also dignity and humanity. So your entire humanity is lost, your dignity is lost after you lose your life in the war. So what kind of what kind of glorification is this? What kind of glamorization is this? If your your body is lying, rotting in the sun. So your entire dignity, your humanity, everything is lost. So what is this glorification all about? Right? What is this glamorization of war all about? So that is something which we need to understand. Is this clear? Vote for vote. Yes. Okay. Great praise the Duke of Marlborough won. So who is praised? The Duke of Marlborough. And good Prince Eugene. I have already talked about the historic background, and you also know a lot about the historic background. So, why it was a very wicked thing, said little Wilhelmine. So, don't you also think, just like Wilhelmine, that if war is causing such a great destruction, stripping you away from stripping you off from your humanity, is war a good thing? Or do you also consider, just like Wilhelmine, that war is a wicked thing? What do you think? What do you think, beta? Is war a wicked thing? What is your opinion? What is your opinion? Nobody is answering. Okay, I'm giving you time. Think about it. Okay, ponder upon the poem and think about what's the poet trying to say and what is your opinion, right? Nay, nay, my little girl, quoth he, it was a famous victory. So when when little Wilhelmine said that if this is the scenario, this is the description that you're giving, so many people, lying dead, their bodies rotting in the sun, mothers, and children, their life being questioned, okay, their life just being destroyed, people having to flee from their homes, they have to face the trauma of displacement. If so many negative things are there associated with war, the impact of war, the aftermath of war is so horrible, it's so terrible, then how is it not a wicked thing, and how is this a celebration? What is the cause of celebration in all of this? But what is the grandfather saying? No, no, no. It was a famous victory. Why is this a famous victory? Because the English defeated the French, right? So great praise, the Duke of Marlborough. So he praises the Duke and the Prince. But look at this point. So many soldiers who lost their lives, whose bodies are rotting on the dead sun, are they praised? Are they valorized? Are they receiving even a dignified life? I mean, even a dignified, name, or forget about praise. They are stripped of their humanity, their dignity, right? So this is so very politically manipulated, right? Yes or no? Yes or no? I think like Wilhelmine war leads to colossal wastage of people. It only leads to death and destruction and futility. And the children becomes the mouthpieces of the poet. Very well said, Sanju. Great, great, great applause. So the children are, yes, here Wilhelmine and Peter King becomes the mouthpiece of the poet, as Sanju correctly pointed out. And war is, something which needs to be stopped, okay, because it causes massive damage, as Sanju pointed out, colossal damage, right? But who is getting the praise? Not those soldiers who are losing their lives, but only the people in power, Duke of Marlborough, Prince Eugene. So don't you think it is so very politically manipulated? Yes or no? Hanji Naman, don't worry, don't worry. I'll try to find out what's the confusion. Okay, which third line, beta? Which third line? Which stanza? So a confused Wilhelmine exclaimed that if war was such a wicked thing and wondered how her grandpa could sing praises. Exactly. Even we are confused how people, now grandpa here is the mouthpiece of the people in general who romanticize and celebrate war, right? And sing praises of such a bloody war. And as Sanju pointed out, the grandchildren are the mouthpieces of the poet. It is obvious that the old man is hiding the destruction and agony caused by war by repeating these two words. So, although he is describing the agony, the destruction, but he is describing them in a very casual and nonchalant way, and so that the impact is not more. And he is constantly stressing on two words: great victory. He seems to be afraid of breaking the romantic ideals of wars. As I told you, he is in sync, or he is aligned with those people who valorize, who romanticize war. Alright? So the poet is trying to shed off, tear off this veil of romance which is there in the eyes of most of the people in general. And everybody praised the Duke who this great fight did win. But what good came of it at last? This is a question we all should ask. What good came out of this war? Why? That I cannot say. That even the grandfather cannot say. Right? So Peter King anticipates on the purpose of war. So definitely this poem is questioning on the purpose of war. Right? All the grandfather could say was that it was a famous victory. Now this is an epitome of irony, because the war is fought usually over trivial matter of dispute, over mainly, either border areas, or for a piece of land, but it costs the lives of so many people. So why do we need to have this kind of ideology, glamorization of war? The only inevitable thing in a war is destruction of life and property, nothing else. That we also should understand. Victory cannot bring back the lives which are lost during the war, even if you win. So many people losing their lives. Can their lives be brought back? If no, then what kind of victory is this? So we need to question the very purpose and the need of war. If things can be solved in a diplomatic way, in a peaceful manner, why don't we promote peace instead of glamorizing war? So war is something which is futile. This you should also read another poem. There are so many poems, anti-war poems. I'll list a few. Futility. I think this is by Wilfred Owen. Futility is there. Spring offensive. Okay, just read through these poems. Beautiful reads. Okay, then there's a poem called Hero, Futility, Spring Offensive, Hero. There are so many others as well. Right now, I could recall only three. Okay, so read these poems. These are also anti-war poems. Alright, have you ever read any other anti-war poem apart from this? Hi, Gagan. Yes, exactly, Sanju. Stanza 9, third line. Okay, stanza 9, third line. 1, 2, 3. This one. Because thousands of bodies were rotting in the sun. Rotting is, getting destroyed. Sarna jisko bolte hain in Hindi, sarna, that is rotting. So this, thousands of bodies were there after war. They were killed, right? So there were so many people, so many dead bodies of the soldiers which were, lying open in the sun, rotting. So that is definitely showing the how these soldiers are stripped of their humanity, their dignity, because their bodies are just rotting in the sun, in the open sun. Nobody to take care of, nobody to do all the rituals over there. So talking about the vocabulary, any other Old Man at the Bridge? Yeah, that's a story. Absolutely correct. That's also about war, anti-war. I'm talking about anti-war poems. Have you ever read any anti-war poem? So see, you can see the slide is also talking about Holi. It's the theme is Holi. So I wish you a very happy Holi once again on this note. Okay. Arey, thank you, Nishchal. Thank you so much. Yes. Okay. So this is the vocabulary part, guys. You can take a, a look at the vocabulary. All right. I'm sure you would be benefiting out of this. And last and final, before moving ahead with the questions, let's talk a little bit about the poetic device. So first of all, consonants and alliteration. So alliteration is a part of consonant. Alliteration is basically the repetition of consonant sound, but it should happen in the beginning of the syllable. Like tell, was. So T repeated at the beginning of the syllable. With, wonder, waiting, repeated at the beginning of the syllable. This is an example of alliteration. Consonants can happen anywhere. Okay, not necessarily in the beginning. Say, was, shocking. This is also repetition of consonant sound, but not in the beginning. Okay, that is the difference between alliteration and consonant. Same with little grandchild, so L being repeated, the sound of L being repeated. Archaism has been used. Archaism is, obsolete, use of archaic or obsolete, that is very old words, which is no longer in use in the modern English. For example, ne, my child, quoth he, that is said he, right? Irony, I have already explained you, right? So metonymy. Next is metonymy. So metonymy is basically, it's a thing or concept which is referred to by something which is very closely associated with it. For example, by him and by him spotted on the green. Green refers to not the color green, but the grassland. So that is metonymy. So the green refers to something which is closely associated with it. Okay, that is the grassland. So here green does not mean the green color, but the grassland. So that is metonymy. Next, we will come to the question. Okay, this is the extract. All right, please read through this extract. The question is, what made the old man shake his head and sigh? Now it's time for you to answer. Come on. Keep Seattle's speech too. Yes, exactly. Yes, that is also true. Come on, guys. What made the old man shake his head and sigh? Hi, Suhita. So please tell me, guys. I'm waiting for your answer. The skull of a man who was slain in war. Okay, very good, Bhumi. Anything else? Yes, beta Sanju, you are correct. Naman is saying the old man shook his head and knew a natural sight was short. Very well said, Naman. Absolutely correct. So, as Naman has amazingly pointed out, the old man's little grandson Peter King brought a human skull. On seeing that, he did not look surprised. He felt pity and remorse. He was not shocked, surprised. What was his feeling? He was pitiful. He was, having a sense of remorse because he already knew that there were many more skulls. What Peter King had come with was just one of the many human skulls. The tragic thing was that dead had been left rotting there for so many years. So this is definitely talking about the soldiers being, or the people participating in the battle, their humanity, their dignity being stripped off. So people stripped off their dignity, humanity. So what is left is only the skull, right? So definitely this is talking about the impact of war. Okay, that is definitely anti-war tone. Okay, uh, shaking off the veil of romance, and exposing war as a necessary evil, right? So please add these points as well. Talk about the anti-war tone as well, right? And talk about the gruesome impact of war. Last question, guys. This is the extract. Okay, what is meant by wonder waiting eyes? Where is the alliteration used here? You know this already. I have talked about the alliteration. Why did Wilhelmine look up with such eyes? Please give me the answer. Come on. Come on, guys. What is happening in the chat box? Is there a fight going on? What is this? So guys, we are studying. How ironical is this? We are studying about peace, promotion of peace, and you people are waging war in the chat box. What is this? Okay, come on, guys. Please give me the answer. Refers to the surprise and questioning attitude of the grandchildren who wanted the okay, great. Yes, aggregate gamer, absolutely correct. Naman, absolutely correct. Om, Sayyad, Bhumi, wonderful answers, guys. So this signifies the unmistakable curiosity reflected by the eyes of Wilhelmine, right? The figure of speech used here is, I told you, the consonant W alliteration. If we read the preceding line, we can find reference to Wilhelmine as well. So that also we can take note. Okay. So, like other children of her age, little Wilhelmine is curious to know something wonderful about different things she hears from the children. And at last, we also do find there is a generation gap, right? When Wilhelmine says, Wilhelmine and Peter King, they think that war is something which is very wicked. But on the other hand, old Caspar believes that this is very common and this was a great victory. So we also see a generation gap over there. So that is another thing. But here, what is important is, she her curiosity. Okay, she wanted to know more, right? So that is why she looks up with such eyes. With that, guys, we have a homework question for you. What were the results of the great victory? So please do, create your lovely answers, post your lovely answers in the comment section. Don't forget that. And guys, I hope you have enjoyed the session. This was a one-shot revision. So I hope you are now cleared with the entire poem at one go. Okay, and absolutely prepared to give your exam. So let me have a thumbs up in the chat in the like. I mean, you please do hit the like button. Again, share the video amongst your friends and don't forget to subscribe. Okay? Till then, take care. Bye bye. Do specimen paper. I have already done letter writing from the specimen paper. I will be taking up questions from there. If it's not possible for doing the entire paper at one go, I'll be taking up questions from there. But yes, I will. I have taken a note. Let me complete the series, one shot series. I'll definitely have a look. Okay? Bye everyone. Take care. Don't forget to hit the like button, share, and subscribe to the channel. Bye.